Hello, everybody. Somebody want. Sorry. Hey, guys. Hi, everyone. Hey. Hello, 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 hello. Hello. Hi. Hello. How's everyone doing? Hello. I missed you. You like As the B movie? Thank you so much for the follow. Welcome in. Let me say hello to everybody. Thank you for the first thing, Ivan. Thank you for being so early. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for the second sting, Fawn and Divya for the third sting. Thank you guys so much. Love you, love you, love you, love you. Thank you so much. And for the daily wishes, Ivan, Ala, Divya, Sunny, Alex, Kumiko, Lulu. Tempting. Gotcha. Thank you for the daily wish you like As. And Eid Mubarak to you too. Thank you so much. Guys, Ramadan is over. It's Eid now. Crazy. How are you guys doing? I missed you. It's been what, like 2 months since I've last seen you? Thank you, Daily Wish Fawn. Hi, baby. Honey's here. My nose may seem stuffed right now because I think it's a little bit inflamed. Hi, baby. Hi, honey. Nice 60 stream streak and 55 from Fawn as well. Oh my god, this is crazy. So you may notice that we're early today, right? Because you guys got used and conditioned to the Ramadan timing. Now that Ramadan is over, we're back to our usual timing, which is this time. So yeah, streams are going to be earlier from now on and only 3 times a week, 4 times a week if there's an occasion or a collab, but usually it's gonna be stable 3 times a week every week. Eid Mubarak Vidi, and thanks so much for the daily wish. Hello in Muslim Brotherhood. Hey Nelson. Nelson Mandela fan. Hope you guys had a lovely day. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but I woke up like an hour ago. I was awake all the way to the morning yesterday when we were watching the movie. I was awake throughout till like 6 to 7 a.m. and then I went to say hi to my family. Does that include weekends? Yeah. Weekend streams are just going to be longer. So weekday streams are going to be like 3 hours max. Could be less. But weekend streams are going to be 3 to 4 hours. Could be 5. Can go like to eternity and beyond. But I still haven't figured out the days. I thought, because I'm kind of locked in with the gym and now singing lessons. So I think I have 2 streams that are near the weekend-ish. Thursday and Saturday are my 2 streams that are close to each other, and then probably a Tuesday stream. Yep, indeed. That will be the timing from now on. It'll be much easier for me, and because like I have work and I'll have gym and I'll have vocal lessons and I'll have a lot of stuff going on. Yeah, so it's gonna be heavy, and I have work. I work in 9 to 5. You did? Oh, you just reminded me. Everyone looked so good today. Like I went to see my family, and they all look so good today. Oh my god, is that my favorite Silver Mercy main multicolored eye gin eating Stingout leader? Oh my god, hey Dazzy. Thank you for the daily wish. Dazzy. Oh, yesterday I was silver, by the way. I was playing Overwatch. So I played in the morning yesterday. So like yesterday morning I started playing. And I dropped from platinum all the way to silver 1. And then I stayed up all night like doing Eid stuff and playing the game Um, and then I'm now gold 1 again. I kept spamming Wu Yang. Wu Yang is my main, right? But I always thought like, okay, maybe he's not needed or whatever. Bitch, I spammed Wu Yang and I'm doing like 10k heals and 10k damage every game. I have the highest limbs. I'm leaving bitches like they can't breathe because I'm playing Wu Yang nonstop. And I fucking solo climbed my way right back into gold 1 and now I'm close to plat again. And then I'm gonna get to diamond tonight. That's what I'm getting to diamond tonight. Hey Toro Cat, hi Willow. Thanks so much for the daily wishes. Hi Toro, how are you? I will fucking climb out of if I don't get to masters this season, I am not Zayan Al Jin. You'll change my name. I will get to masters as Wu Yang. I'm gonna solo like Mercy does nothing in gold and plat and diamond. Nothing at all. She's useless unless she's like with a duo. Without a duo, she sucks. She literally cannot do shit. And I'm saying this as I played Mercy since season 1, Overwatch 1, like a long time ago. I'm good, Willow. How are you? And yeah, I haven't seen you either, Toro. It's been a long time. Guys, is my voice okay? I don't know what's going on with my voice. Was it? Oh, I was singing. I was singing all day. I have a cover to practice with a very special person. I had to write a paper about you for sociology class. Ayo? About me? Very strange occurrence. Well, go on. Care to go on? Care to tell us more? We all want to know. Oh, I'm so glad I make it to your assignments, you guys. Thank you, 10 stream streak, Willow. Woohoo! Guys, it's been a long time. Literally 2 days, but like it's been such a long time. I miss you guys. Even though we watched movies for the past 2 days. We watched Devil Wears Prada and we watched White Chicks. I wanted to ask you guys which one you liked most. What is Jafar TTS? Jafar TTS, hold on, let me turn it on first. Jafar TTS is, my dear, is a text-to-speech thing. And if you try it, yep, he will talk. That little scorpion on my shoulder, he'll talk. He has stuff to say, okay? I'm gonna put him somewhere nice, okay? I'm gonna put him here. If only he would. Yep. I'm gonna put him right here. Yep. He basically will speak for you guys. There we go. So whenever you guys want to talk about something, he's gonna answer for you, okay? That burden is no longer mine. I will not be held responsible for what my son says. Like a true Arab dad, I'm disowning him. Oh! Oops! Right. I'm restraining myself from using TTS because I might make him see something weird. Well, you guys possess him. Yeah, go ahead. I was making fun of Arab culture and how Arab dads are weird and like they'll disown you about like the littlest thing. They will never have the shame of you know, like of a son that like says something weird. Like if Jafar says something weird right now, I'm disowning him on the spot. I don't take no claim for a child that will embarrass me.
Woof woof bark bark arf bark grr woof snarl hs s s s g r r woof woof bark arf g r r h s s s s woof woof bark arf g r r h s s s s s bark arf g r r woof woof bark g r r snarl arf woof bark arf snarl her screer woof woof bark bark arf bark for woof snarl hs s s s g r r r w o f woof bark arf g r r r h s s s s woof woof bark arf g r r r h s s s s s bark arf.
Ubu bak bak abak go sinang sisi go ubu bak up sisi ubu bak up sisi bak up ubu bak sinang up bak up sinang so sun si go ubu bak abak go sinang sisi go u bak up go sisi ubu bak up go sisi bak up.
Zion Booba.
Right. Whoa. Whoa there. Oh my god. What the fuck? Thank you for the sub. But thank you for the resub, Dazzy. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. I love you. Thank you so much. Mwah. Hi Nova, how are you? It was good. It was good. It was good. I dressed up. You know, gave some hateful stares to those cousins. Dodged all the auntie questions. You know, all of that. Unbelievable. I just can't believe this is my life. This is my life. Oh my god. And it wasn't one, it was two of you. Unbelievable. It was two of you guys. It wasn't one.
We got community train.
Yeah, we did. Yay. You guys want to keep the community train going because it's Eid? Go right ahead. I could use the money. But no, don't spend money on Twitch, please. Please don't spend your money.
We love Zion, Zion Jad, Zion Schmax.
I love Zion too. I love how they say Zion. It's Zion, but they say Zion. And it's really hard not to say it the same way they do.
I cannot imagine the anti-questions I'm going to get tomorrow. Money day tomorrow, yes, yes, yes.
Why are you not married? When are you getting married? Did you graduate? Oh, you want to work? Super Saiyan Zion Jin.
Tell them you're engaged to Leonis. Kennedy and his shirtless mob, was it?
The fastest way, like, to get disowned. Fast track to getting disowned.
Eu enjoying the those have vitamins.
Vitamin, Vitamin C. Vitamin C. Right, see? Now we're getting... Kumiko got judged on the train. What saves you from getting judged? Oh my god. Kumiko got judged on the train for not being married. On the train. On the fucking train, on public transport. Crazy. Just crazy. This is the life that we live in. This is the life we live in. Guys, look! There's Kingdom Come Deliverance merch! I want it! But why is it the IGN store? Bullshit. Wait, I know you, Pussy Clapper. You were here before. Yeah, where's my 3 wishes? I don't know. You guys are... Oh my god. I'm so sorry to tell you guys. So sorry. So sorry to tell you guys. I'm a fraud. I'm not a real genie. The term genie does not exist for me. I'm a jinni. You think I'm a genie, but I'm not. I'm a jinni. Which is a demon in Arabic. It's a type of creature in Arabic. It's a whole race in Arabic. You scamming me. Did you just refollow? Weren't you following me before? And then you unfollowed me? I remember you. Get him. Get him. You got suspect. Oh, what did you do? I'm still Ginny from the block. Listen, if I could grant wishes, do you think I would be stuck here streaming? No. I would not, okay? I'd be somewhere in fucking Europe, in the mountains or something. On my own, as a fucking hermit. Or like a local witch or something like that, you know? Like, fuck. Your owner? Who owns me? No one owns me. I'm not a genie. I'm not a genie. You guys keep... I'm a jinn, not a genie, okay? And I'm half of that, okay? I'm still half human. Hello, I'm still half human. The lamp. You think that lamp? You think I don't control that lamp? I ate 2 of them, and they're lamps. They're mine. I colonized them. I ate 2. Yeah, I ate 2. And what about it? I ate 2. I'm still human. Hello? Do I not look human to you? I know I'm gorgeous, and you've never seen a beautiful human as much as you like as this. Like, this is like peak beauty, but I know that, right? But like, I'm still human. Like, I know it's hard to believe because I'm so fucking beautiful. But like,
that's why you glow in the dark.
I don't glow in the dark. That's a rumor made by my enemies. I don't know why you guys are surprised. Why are we acting brand new? Humans don't have magic and ping. Well, this I got from the second genie, okay? I mean, Jinni. From the second one. When I saw the second one, he gave me this, okay? He gave me all the red. I didn't have that before. I just had the black and the gold and the white. Now the white is gone. I got rid of the white in me. I had a lot of white in me. I glow in the dark, but that's because I'm so white. They named me Disney princess. They named Disney princess after me. Something with this. Bitch. Snow White. What about Peppermint? What are you talking about? Who's after Peppermint? What?
I glow in the dark because of the gasoline.
That doesn't make any sense, but sure. Why are you acting brand? Oh yeah, who's after me? I remember that clip. Oh my god, homie, where's homie? Oh my god, I remember that. Oh my god. Oh my god. Wesley, all day, every day. Thank you for the daily wish. Of course you have a lot of white in you. Of course. Hello? What the hell? Excuse me? Are you insinuating something? What did I walk into? I don't know myself. Oh. Hello, Wesley. A lot of zinc. I do actually take a lot of zinc. And what about it? Use being idiots. What? Use being idiots. Average Friday. What the hell is going on? What is going on this Eid Mubarak? What is going on this Eid Mubarak, you guys? I love it when my American white friends are like, Eid Mubarak. I'm like, thank you. Eid Mubarak to you too. On Eid, by the way. Right. Right. Great. Instead of stripping me, it's Eid. You should be giving me money, okay? It's Eid custom to give money to the people that you love. Okay? Where's my idea? That's a crazy confession, Willow. You know, we have confession nights. You could use that to confess.
You have so much to spend on TTS.
Yeah, you're spending it on TTS instead of spending it on money to support your favorite streamer on Eid, Habibi. You guys are supposed to spend your money on Eid to give your streamer money because it's Eid, Habibi. Okay. Where are my Eid gifts, y'all? I should be the one actually giving you guys gifts. The raffle is over. It's over. Today is the day that we do the raffle, by the way. I'll do it before we start stream, but before we start the game, because M has to sleep. M is the artist that is going to do your art if you win the raffle. When is confession? I have some crazy shit to say. I bet you do. Let's see. We can probably do it.
Where is my 80, by the way, Zoe?
Where's mine? Where's mine? Huh? Where's mine? I'm the one begging for money online. The M in M's name stands for massive. Yep. Yep. Literally, by the way. Yep. Yep. I agree with that statement. That is correct. That is correct use of that statement. Wait, I'm supposed to play.
M stands for massive booba.
Okay. Just instrumental. Man M meet M. Oh. MMM? MMM? Oh, hey, baby. Bye, baby. Love you, but you gotta go. No, 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 no. It's okay. Do not resist your fate. You have to go. Then we should exchange money tomorrow.
We should exchange money tomorrow. Come here, let me give you my property.
I'm in a war zone, and y'all asking me for money? How far have y'all fallen from grace to ask someone who's in a war zone for money? That's insane. Oh, and you're asking me to travel? Crazy. Once they open the Strait of Hormuz, then you guys can ask me to fucking travel. I'm literally in a war zone. Leave me alone. Jongwon, thank you for the daily wish.
How much swap I would like to purchase Hime?
Over my dead body. You will never buy my cat over my dead fucking body. You can't even come here. You can't even come here. The Strait of Hormuz is closed. Let me do the raffle. You put the names and everything. I'm gonna give the TTS a cooldown because y'all crazy. Y'all crazy.
bank issues today.
I am so sorry, Divya. I think it's because Iran is hitting all the banks right now. Baby, get away. Get away. I will trap you again in the bathroom and you'll cry. Go. Go. Shh. Go away. It's like she knows I'm streaming right now. She was quiet the whole day. They decided to, you know, fuck me up. Whoa, lopsided boots are... They're not... They're literally not lopsided. It's just me moving. It's just me moving. Okay, guys, shut up. Shut up. I need to... Shut up. I need to do the raffle. Shut up. Shh. Everyone shut up. Just, you know, say I'm hot or something. Say, oh my god, you're so hot. Wheel of Names. The fuck? Oh my god. Google is using my location. That's so fucked up. What the fuck? Fuck you, Google. Whoa. There you go. Lucky Draw. My favorite site. You're so hit, Zion. I'm so hit, you're right. I've been hit a few times. Wouldn't you like to hit? I'm innocent, looking fabulous and hot as always, Zion. Thank you so much. Pretty hot and tempting. Shook shoot. Indeed. Where's that raffle shit?
My house is packed with guests again. Can a night your
Pretty hot and tempting. Gotcha. PHAT. Pretty hot and tempting. Gotcha. Okay. I gotta put the names in. The names in. Gotcha. TTS is Japanese. What do you mean? What does that mean? Guys, I wanted to like be a little bit buffer, but I kind of don't mind my body right now. I mean, look at this slutty waist. This waist is gold. I feel like this waist is made for a man whore, which I'm not, but I can become. Gotcha! Let's see the names of the people who have purchased a raffle ticket. The gutters of liquid holding. Oh my god, your memory. Your memory! Do you guys want to know what that means? Do you guys know what that means? Does anyone know what that means? Your memory is your memory is so good. I unfortunately remember anyone who remembers, you're an OG if you remember. Oh my god. That is crazy. That is really crazy, by the way. I still cannot believe that. That was a thing. in our lives. That someone saw this, saw my abs, and said, the gutters of liquid holding, confidently, so confidently, under my YouTube comments. They don't know that they're famous. They are literally the most famous copy pasta that we have. Let's see, where is it?
Skippity Phantom taxing in the Sigma Patrick Big.
Oh.
Six Gaedong and Unkai Senate's W. Riz.
Ooh.
Baby Gronk and Ice Spice doing the Grimace Shake Challenge with Smurf Cat. Only in Ohio.
Who's Smurf Cat?
Sussy Baka Pepino Pizza Tower on the Skibbity Toilet Titan Cameraman. TV Woman. Lanky Box and Titans Ackerman. There's nothing we can do but me purse.
Oh. Oh my God. Is he? He's really loud for me. Here. I've increased the audio for you guys, so if you guys say that, oh my ear, like, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Fuck your ears. Wow. You're so skibbity phantom taxing. I will never say that, man. What does Patrick Bateman have to do with this? Wow. He's still quiet. You must be deaf. Ain't no way he's still quiet, babe. This is rage babe. He's as loud as me now, so good luck. Oh! 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 Oh my God! Where's your vape? Oh! Because I can still hear your irritating, grating voice! Oh my God! Oh my God! Go back to looking for your vape. Okay, I have to teach Willow an Arabic word. Willow, what Arabic word would you like to learn? You have to tell me in English so I can tell you in Arabic. You swallow. Oh. I just remember when the vape used to leak into my mouth and I would like just everywhere. Disgusting. A long time ago. Now, you know, I'm 1.5 months sober off of vape and nicotine. Spitter. Oh yeah, I'm not a swallower. I'm not gonna pick. Don't make this. No, don't. I'm not gonna pick. You tell me what Arabic word in English, and I'll tell you. If you tell me to pick, I don't know. I'll get lost, guys. Come on now. We've been through this before. I have ADHD. I'm not picking. Pick a cuss word. Crazy. Then why did you redeem it? Why did you redeem it? Why did you redeem it? If you don't know what Arabic word you want to learn, why did you redeem it? Oh my. Bye. I'm not picking. Stop. Then just do what every other motherfucker does on here. Take off my shirt. Just undress me. Oh my god. I'm not picking shit. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, there you go. That's exactly what every motherfucker should be doing on here. The fuck? Oh my god. Like, come on, guys. Okay, so I think Willow is saying pick as in the word pick. You pissed me off. This is rage bait. Okay, so the word pick is اختيار or اختار. You're telling someone to pick, so اختار. A full sentence. I'm not saying a full sentence. It says an Arabic word. It does not say a full sentence. It says an Arabic word. How do I say fuck off, please, and thank you? I think I told you this before, but it's there's multiple dialects to saying this, right? There's hil anni, which is in Lebanese. When you talk in Lebanese, you have to talk like this. So you say hil anni, غرب عن وشي, هيك Lebanese. When you talk in Lebanese, Lebanon language, it's a little bit different, the dialect. It's zesty. The Lebanon language is a bit zesty. Zesty is not an Arabic word. We don't have an Arabic word for that. Like all these like terms that you Americans have. I have to stop myself. Not you Americans. Oh my God. Why did I say that? All these American terms, we don't have terms for that in Arabic. Like, cause like zest is like for citrus. So like what you may say is zesty is not what we think is zesty. How do you say my son's a power bottom in Arabic? ابني شو ابني شرموطة يعني ابني شرموط. I guess. I'm so sorry, Fawn. I'm so sorry. I forgot you're not American. Anyways, wait, why does it not work? Jafar was like, I'm done with this shit. But I didn't do anything to it. It just stopped working. You're racist, bruh. I am. Actually, you can actually like go around and like, you can hang this up, by the way, and like go around the world, right? And like with billboards and put my name on it and say racist, hates Americans. And I'll tell you, yes, I approve this message. I hate Americans. Sorry. I mean, I love my Americans, but I hate America in general. Unfortunately, that's how it is. Came at a perfect time. Yes, you definitely did. You definitely did. Wait, I was putting the names for the raffle. Like, this is pissing me off. Y'all got me distracted. The word love. Wait, I already told you pick. You said pick, and I told you what pick means. Don't play with me. Nightmare Wolf. Owly. Oh. Meja got you a ticket, right, Nova? If I remember. Harukami Yoru. Oh, wait. And then Owly again. Because we have a lot of points in this bitch. Okay, now the people that paid for theirs that I didn't pay for. I love that the campaign cannot go away so that I can see like the goals and what everyone bought. Where are... Ah! Bitch! Actually, get the fuck off here. Get off. Get off. Get off. She's not scared. Get off. Get off my chair. Off. Bad cat. I forgot where you see like the purchase history. There you go, donations. Art raffle. Meja bought one for. Oh, I only bought one for Nova. Okay, so Nova, and then Masha, sorry, and then who else? Kumiko. So who else for the raffle ticket? Who else for the raffle? Kumiko, you bought a few, didn't you? Because it says $50 here. Guys, we made a total of 2,320, by the way. I don't know where the 300 came from, but... Event total. Someone donated an extra 300 outside of our campaign to the fundraiser itself. Outside of our campaign, someone added an extra 300. Yeah. Kumi-chan bought me the ticket. I love it. No, she did not. No, she did not. That was Auli. No, she did not. Oh my God, Nova. Oh my God, Nova. At least know who you're thanking. Oh my God. That's so embarrassing. Oh, the sub. Yeah, she did. She did, yeah. Guys, he needs to lock in so I can pass out. Yeah, I do need to lock in. Stop distracting me. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 tickets. Good job. That's $150. Good job. Good job, everybody. Good job. I had to buy 6 of those, and then the rest were already bought by you guys. Very good money. Very good, well spent money. Yeah, my ADHD is insane. So like, you guys, yeah, I've said this before. Stop sidetracking me when we're doing something, because you do that, then I'm gonna go off the tracks, and it'll take me hours to come back to where I started. Okay, so stop it. Stop it right now. Bad stingers. Bad stingers. Kumi goat. Oh my God. Ah. Oh, and Kumiko is the one who donated like thousands. She's the highest donor of the charity. Tofu, thank you for the spray, but why would you do that to me? What have I done to you? That's her. That's her. That's my elite stinger. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna hop into this screen, as you can see right here. And no, I remember, Kumiko, you spoke about this before. I don't know. I don't remember if you were annoyed by people calling you a sugar mama or not. But I remember you spoke about this, that a lot of people say that about you. And, you know, if you're not comfortable with that, you just tell me and I'm going to shut it down. I'm going to ban the word sugar mama from the stream. Or Kumiko and sugar together. I don't know. I don't remember. I just remember something of the kin. I remember Kumiko speaking about it somewhere. I just don't remember where. I saw it somewhere. Yeah, no one annoy Kumiko, or you'll face the wrath of my stinger. I will sting you, okay? With my stinger. Oh my God, that sounds so bad, kinda. It surprises you, girly. She's a big spender. But she's spending her money on all the right things, I gotta say. Like, what else would you like to spend your money on? A hot Arab VTuber, okay? charity, right? Hot Arab VTubers friends. So smart. That's good spending. The clip command is off because there's a lot of like, how do I say this? Random ass clips that I'm trying to go through like clips, right? To like get clips. There's like so much random clips that I'm like, oh my God, where are the clips? It's like inflated. Ew. You know what I mean? You know? Okay, we have 5 minutes, so we're gonna do this now. Iwi. That should be your name from now on, not Fawn. Iwi. Iwi. You did, but not everyone. But you did. You actually did. You actually did. You got awesome ones, actually. I got it. Hats off to you. Crown off to you, Iwi. Your name is Iwi. Oh my God. I requested a second word. What's the second word? What's the second word? See, you're distracting me. I need to do the raffle. Oh my God, I hate you guys so much. Let me stream it. Oh my God. So annoying. Ugh. I forgot to go live on Twitter as well. Oopsie. Guys, I have a nail clipper for cats, but I don't know how to use it. I'm scared of using it on my babies. But baby needs her nails she needs her nails cut immediately. Bitch, touch my foot again. I swear to God. Touch my toe again. I swear. Oh, did you guys know I was putting masks and stuff for today, like scrubbing, you know, like all the. Stop! Bitch. Okay, she got scared off. I was scrubbing, you know, my body, my face, my neck, my crack, my everything. You are not. I'm not playing with you right now. I'm not playing with you. Unfortunately, I'm not playing with you right now. And then I basically why can't I snooze my ads? What the fuck? What the hell? Basically, I found this feet mask that I had, and I don't know why I had it, but I had feet mask, and it's German, and I used it. It was nice. My feet are so soft right now, supple, and I like it. So suitable. I took pictures for my friends. Like how soft they came out was insane. I was like, whoa. I use feet mask too. Oh, you do? Oh, there we go. Raffle time. Pretty hot and tempting. Okay. So, who is going to win the art from our friend M Just M? M Just M is in the chat right now. M Just M. Oh, I can't even search his name. It doesn't show up. What the fuck? M Just M. That's crazy that you're shadow banned, babe. Babe, you're shadow banned. Babe, you're shadow banned. You're shadow banned. I can't even search for your name. Yep. This is Just M's account. And they are sponsoring our art. Okay? The art for the raffle is... You are shadow banned, I'm pretty sure. 100%. Sorry, I got sidetracked. Because, like, I tried to search for your name and I couldn't find it. So I'm 100% sure you've been shadow banned. Yep. Yep. I say this to help you. Anyway, let's begin the raffle. Hosted and sponsored by moi, sponsored by Just M. M draws nice men, by the way. Drum roll, everybody. Ba 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 ba. Wait. Okay. Ah! Why was that so loud? It destroyed my ear. Harukami Yoru is our winner. That was so loud. And what was the reason? Jesus. Oh. Harukami Yoru is the winner. Where is Harukami Yoru? They're not here. I'm pretty sure they're not here. But we have to reach out to them somehow. I think I have them on my follower list, so I could probably reach out to them that way. And this is their name, so let me search for them. On Twitch. Right? Right? Harukami Yoru. Okay, there's Harukami Yoru. I must DM them. How do I DM them? How does one DM someone? Search for people. Harukami Yoru. There we go. Hi, Harukami Yoru. Hi, Harukami Yoru. You won the art raffle. So dramatic. Just because I pushed her off the chair. It's like, yeah! You're so dramatic. Go away. I sent them a message. I hope they reply. Imagine if you're already around set. I'm just slow. I don't know if he knows it. What? I did. What surprise? Oh, the highest donator thing. Oh, well, I didn't actually. I think I did semi, but there is also M said that they would love to do art for the highest donor to the charity. And that happens to be Kumiko. Yes. Yes. Yes, indeed. Yes. Yes, yes. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Now remember to follow M, okay? My friend M, okay? Okay, make sure you do and support my friend M. Okay. And with that, we have to go on ad break. It's trying to force itself its way here. The ad break is forcing itself upon us. Okay. So we do have to go on an ad break. And Willow, I told you to wait until I do the raffle and then I'll tell you because like I'm getting sidetracked. And I did tell you what love is before. You did. Willow, stop doing that. Stop doing that. We're literally doing an art raffle. Stop insisting on it, please. I kept saying that so many times. Stop distracting me. I'm doing the art raffle. Love is hub, okay? That's what it means. Hub. Hub is love. My goodness. Kumiko donated like over $1,000. She donated over $1,000 to the charity. And I'm very grateful for that. Very, very grateful. Like she probably fed like 10 families probably. Yeah, so. And I can't be like, how do I say it? Grateful enough that M reached out to do this with me and offer art and sponsor 2 art pieces, not 1, 2. One for the raffle winner and one for the highest donor. That's big of him, honestly. This is his livelihood, of course. Art is what an artist's livelihood, and he does take commissions. And the fact that he's giving this away for free is really big. Yeah. Indeed. And for a beautiful cause as well. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Beautiful cause as well, yeah. Good luck, Nova. He does. He draws awesome men. I'll tell you that. He draws sexy men for sure. I love his style. Indeed. With that, and the final surprise is me and Zion are getting married. No. Right. Thank you for being here, Em. It's time for you to go to sleep. Tomorrow is Eid for you, so go to sleep. Thanks for supporting us and the sponsor. Thank you so much. I'm the one who needs to blink twice, bitch. You fucking bitch. I'm the one who needs to blink twice. Hello? I'm not getting married. What the fuck? I'm eternally single. If I'm getting married to myself. Okay? I'm gonna find a carbon hot copy of myself and marry that. Okay? Yeah, it's okay. It's okay, Em, of course. Hey, Cotton. You guys are crazy. Shall we review some of the mod applications? Do you guys want to do that together? Ooh, should we do that? Oh, this will be lovely background sounds as I'm about to play a horror game now. No one else in the world will ever be as aggravating as you are. Ass aggravating is crazy. Okay. Owly, thank you so much for the 55. Thank you. Oh, crazy. Who has 60? Who has 60? Someone has 60. Was it Kumiko? I'm really her Kamiyoshi. I'm really her Kamiyoshi. 60. She has 60 stream streak. Since the day I debuted. Right? My second debut? Yep. Thank you for the hydrate, Willow. Thank you so much. Hey, Dougie. Hi, cutie. Hi. Silent Hill and Zion will infest your dreams. That will be your wet dream, baby. That is a wet dream. Okay. Silent Hill X Zion is a wet dream. Oh, if they could only let me do Silent Hill in Arabia. Ooh, I'd have a field fucking day. I would have a field fucking day. I promise you that. A field what? Fucking day in the desert. Ooh. Right. Gore, right. Sounded like a wet dream for me. Yeah, wet as in sweat from being such. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, we do have to go on ad break, you guys, because there's pre-rolled ads and I hate that shit. Or, oh, no, it's already gone. Okay. I think it's already gone. Have a nice nap, Willow. Thank you for being here. Mashia, thank you so much for the daily wish. I hope you're okay. I don't want to bring attention to it, but unless you want to talk about it, Mashia, but I saw the news and I'm really, really sorry for what happened. I hope you're okay. My imagination of Zion as an actual demon is nightmare fuel. What's a nightmare fuel? What's a nightmare fuel? Huh? Like, what does that mean, a nightmare fuel? Like, is it like fuel? It's like very gorish. And sleeper, ooh, I love a sleep paralysis demon. They get so sexy. I don't know why. They get really weird and sexy, don't they? Like they want to lay up on you and everything. They're very weird. Yeah, I really like sleep paralysis demons. They're like weird. I'm really sorry, Meisha. I hope things get better. I know it's not easy. Hi, Sybil. I've got the show. La, 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 la. Okay, is it time for... Wuthering Waves is giving up so many events, but like I don't want to play anymore. There's something about the game right now that's boring. I'm just not in the space to play Wuthering Waves these days. Instead of, let's see. Pretty hard and tempting. Okay, Silent Hill F. Excuse me, guys. I can't see the chat right now, so please forgive me. I'm looking at things, trying to find things, or things find me. And now I have to close this. Close that. Oh my god, am I a boomer? I must be. Okie dokie. Ooh, black screen. We don't want that. Why is it a black screen? Oh. Why is my TTS not working? It was just working. Oh, hey, Ink.
Hi, handsome boy. 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 Hi, handsome boy.
Can't call the boy handsome anymore. No, it works. It works. Hey, Beef. Think of the daily wish. You guys ready? I'm not. You are, but I'm not. No. I launched the game. I want to launch it through NVIDIA. Maybe we'll give that, that filter, the DLSS 5 filter. Did you guys see that? The yassified AI slop filter on like the games. Oh, that pissed me off. That surely pissed me off. Enjoy your lurk and have fun at work if that's possible even. Hey, Harukami, you won the raffle. You won the raffle. You seen that? Ooh, crazy, 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 crazy. Oh, I showed the AI swap to my younger cousin today. Even a 10-year-old thinks it's shit. It is shit. Yes, you did. You did. You did. You did. We will be in touch with you. If M is still here, M, the winner is here. Whoop. Oh, not me off the screen. Excuse me? Bring me back. I'm baby streamer. I'm sorry. I'm baby streamer. Literally baby streamer, by the way. Please be nice to me. I'm baby streamer. Warning, guys. Content warning. It has gender discrimination, child abuse, bullying, drug-induced hallucination, torture, and graphic violence. Okay? Warning. You've been warned. Thank you. Sorry. Should not be singing. Thank you, Harukami. Thank you so much. Hope you have a lovely eat today. It's impossible. I'm drawing bar today. Have fun. Okay. I want to cross my arms because... Oh! My third arm showed up. My bad. Okay. You guys are not scared to your bones shitless about to shit your pants? Well, you should be. This game is scary. I don't like that I'm literally showing you a spoiler, but like that's... what can I do? What can I do? What did I do? What did I do? You're not scared? Well, you should be. Because I am. Yeah, please hold my tits. Where's my controller that Kumiko bought me? I like using it now because I can lay back. I can lay back and enjoy this game. And, you know, just not worry about a lot of things. I can just lay back. I'm literally laying back right now, actually. Let me get more comfortable. And literally lay down. Let me lay down, okay? Let me lay down. There we go. I feel like my father. This is how my father plays video games, by the way. Am I looking fat? Fat? Oh, 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 oh. Oh, he's coming. He's coming. So, I decided you're one of my favorite streamers now. I made the list, y'all. I made the list. He's going from himbo to DILF. As soon as I hit 30, I'm officially a DILF, by the way. So we got the 3 codes, but I think we should just do it like, you know, like vertically. You know what I mean? Like, because I don't know how this puzzle works. So I think just trying them out vertically will work. So like triangle, circular, square, whatever. Like this triangle. That circle, yeah. And then that square. Okay. It's not, that's not it. He's right behind me, isn't he? Mama! Mama, somebody behind you! What? How does that go? How does that meme go? Is it this one? It wasn't right. Okay, girl. You and your bob. I do have two. Yeah, I do have two children, baby and honey. That's true. I'm a DILF. Mama, there girl behind you. Oh. Oh, by the way, when I say hate Americans, I want to specify that it's like a certain type of Americans, but if I say it, people will think I'm racist because they tried to cancel Uki for like making jokes about those specific people. So if I if I say I'm prejudiced against those people and like to make fun of them, I'm not genuinely, like, I'm not. I just make fun of them because they're so stupid, right? Nothing. This is a joke, by the way. That is a joke. Okay. Let's go by this, right? So it says here. Oh, you can invented racism. Let's try the second, the fourth, and the third. The second, the fourth. What's the fourth? Ooh. There's someone behind me. Y'all hear that? Hey, Stacy. What the hell, ya ikhwan? What the hell? I don't get it. That doesn't make sense. Oh, wait. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Oh, yeah, I am wrong. There we go. Got it. Thank you, Stacy. I would have been here for a while. Even though this is like my third replay, by the way. Literally like my fourth even. No, it's my fourth replay. I'm trying to get the bad ending. Oh! Jump scare, a man. Oh my god, guys, it's a man! Woo! Jump scare! I'm gonna increase the volume for me, because I can't hear the game. Which one? Not the fox wedding, I kind of don't want to get it because it's like so horrible of an ending. And she deserves better, you know? You better run. Hey, Seaman. Stop. Why did she stop? Girl, stop. Oh my god. I love how she stopped running. Oh, there's a lot of you. Hey. Okay. That is a bit loud, actually. That is loud. That is scary and loud. I am scared. Shit. Oh my god! Oh my god! The way I would choke on that stupid fox is not even funny. Oh my god! I mean, to be honest, he is like the perfect like knight in shining armor kind of character, you know? He is. He is. No, I'm not saying that I'm into that, but I'm just saying he is. He is creepy though, guys. You have to understand. He kind of groomed her. If you know the story. If you got the true ending like I did, right, and read the files, You would think, you would like, but mind you, they are in their 20s now. They are in their 20s. It's just an illusion that she's in her middle school days or whatever. Not even close. He is so darling. He is so darling. I would not say that Kotoyuki is an adult when he talks to her. That's not true. But the fox god is the weird part, because the fox demon falls in love with Hinako. Well, it wasn't him. It wasn't Kotoyuki. It was his. It was the fox curse. It was the fox possession. Now we're back in the real world, quote unquote, real world. I love that she's. Get up, Kumiko. You have a bob to fix. Right. Hey, Foxy. Hey, Mubarak, Foxy. I hate this guy. Me too. Oh my god, I hate this guy so much. I hate him so much. He's the real villain of the It's not Kumiko. Sorry, Hinako. My bad. I keep saying Kumiko. Wait, there's like a lot of noise coming through my mic now. Isn't there? Better? Better, I say. Is it though? Yeah, what the hell is going on? Oh. Who put all these effects on? I did not. I did not turn all these off. I'm sure I didn't. Personally, I would never use all these effects on my fucking mic. Equalizer? There's nothing to equalize, my love. Exciter. Do I sound good to you guys? Do I sound sexy and seductive and very... I sound what I look like or no? Or do I sound sick? Dad, what's a raffle ticket? We already finished that. It was for Ramadan. It was for the donations. People who donated could enter a raffle ticket to get art from our friend M. Just M. Wait, who are we blaming? What's going on? The girls are fighting. Private close. Mr. Ace runs about farm animals, mix of humans, no one's. You know what? Lulu, Mr. Ace Farm is the closest thing to SA that I've seen. Hello. They're literally there against their will. Being experimented on and shit. I mean, this game is not close to that. Of course, it's not close to that. Of course, unless you're trying to say that the you know, like lusting over the fox is not bad, which is it's not at all. I would be too. Shit, if I was into that shit, I know he's fine. Shit, I'd be into that too. Like shit, the fuck. If I swear to God, I would not care what he looked like the moment he says, "Are you okay? Did you get hurt?" In that sweet voice. Do you think I'm weak? I'm human. I have weaknesses. I'll be whisked away by the fox. Kumiko is always on the brain. That's the problem. She's always on my mind. Is the mask fused to his face? So this is the interesting part, right? Guys, you know how I nerd out to this game? The way I read all the files, let me show you, right? think I have most of them. So, this bitch, Shu, gives Kumiko painkillers, right? Wink, wink. Turns out these are not painkillers. These are white dahlias, the same flowers that were found in Silent Hill, the town. Okay? Bad. Oh, Hinako? Sorry. Hinako, not Kumiko. Sakuko is my favorite character. Do you guys know that Sakuko has autism? Yep. She's autistic, and people find her weird because she's autistic. They don't understand. Her parents try to force her to be normal, and she has visions, and she like communicates with like other beings and stuff. So she's like triple weird, you know. Oh, hey, Diva, where are we going? Are you telling me to go here? Okay, Diva. See you. Wait, where is Shu? Ooh. On the side of the street like that? Y'all playing too much with me right now. Wants to fight. You wanna fight? You wanna fight, bitch? What do you think about Silent Hill Townfall? I have not seen it yet. I generally stay away from any Silent Hill ads because I don't want to ruin the surprise for myself. Any Silent Hill game, I stay away from the trailers. With F, my friends sort of like pushed it on my face to watch it. What the hell? So I always stay away from trailers and teasers as much as I can. I still won't forget the motherfucker who got the evil ending of Leon Kennedy. I think he dies in the evil ending. And like decided to tweet about it and almost ruined the game for me. Thank God it wasn't true. Because I thought Leon died. Thanks to that one motherfucker. So there's so many interesting things about this town, guys. I don't know where to start. There's like a divine sword that was used to banish the evil water dragon. Yeah, I hear two bitches. That's what I thought. Oh, I just hit the wall. It's so interesting. Oh. And like the whole town is interesting as itself. It's like Silent Hill. Like it's like Silent Hill, the town in America, whatever. Because like both towns have such high spiritual Are we lost? The mothers are at this bench. Okay, this is for the alien ending that I'm not doing right now. Higashi. It's just so interesting. 454 Kira, thanks so much for the follow. Look him in. It's like there's just way too many things that are interesting about Ibisuka. I don't know how to say the rest of the name. But I genuinely found that this game has such rich story. More than, I dare say, I mean, I love 2. I love Silent Hill 2. It's just so weird and I love it. It's a weird game. Oh, I'm being followed. Ain't that cute. How do I switch weapons? I forgot. Oh my god, they're coming. Oh my god. Oh my god, how do I switch weapons? Okay. You hit first, by the way, always. Oh. Okay. So, very interesting thing about it is I really, really, really enjoyed the pacing. I enjoyed the multiple storytelling that's happening at the same time. Like, you have Hinako's story and you have the town's story. Like, it's all happening simultaneously as you, like, replay the game over and over. And then you have the friend's story. And then they do this really interesting thing, right? In Silent Hill games, we don't see the perspective of other people, right? We only see the perspective of the main protagonist. In this one, they show you different people's perspectives in very creative ways. Where like you'll see the mother's perspective in a very creative way. Like you'll see how the first playthrough is the perspective of Hinako, that is coming from a place of resentment in the first playthrough, and she's just trying to get by, right? That's what she remembers it as. And in the ending, you see that she was actually at her wedding to Kotoyuki, and she goes crazy at her wedding and basically kills people. She kills 2 girls and 1 boy. And my guess is it's Sakuko, Rinko, and Shu. I think, or her parents as well, probably. But I found it so interesting that you see, there's like 3, like there's so many. There's 5 endings to the game as a whole. And the endings that I got were really nice. I'm working on getting the worst ending right now, which I'm not really excited for because I really hate that ending. It's kind of scary. There are endings where it's like she refuses to let go of like this childhood persona that she's in right now. Because right now, all she's thinking about is like childhood things. But like in the active present, she's getting married to a guy right now. You know? And this is where her brain goes. Thanks to all the drugs that he gives her, this motherfucker. He's been giving it to her since they were kids. He's been giving her white dahlia, which is kind of like psychedelic. And she just keeps reminiscing on like the past. Mm-hmm. Don't touch her. Weirdo. The way his cheek jiggled. What the fuck is up with my mic? Is this the new update? By any chance? It ruined the filters. Oh, my compressor was off. Excuse me while I turn it on. I don't know what panning is, but does it mean that like I'm talking to 2 different areas or whatever? Where is my compressor? My compressor. Turn that shit on. And then reduce the gain. Much better, I say. Yep. Okay. So it's very interesting. Like it's so like layered. There's like multi-layers to the game. And hey, Sunny. And I really enjoy the storytelling. Oh! 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 Bitch. Thank God that she got stuck in front of this table. She got stuck in front of the table. And that's how she missed me. Oh my God. So there's a doctor here, right? This is so creepy, by the way. Oof. Oh, I hate this house. I don't know. Like, I never understood this house. I never understood this house. This is a doctor's house, like a local doctor's house. And the notes that you find here basically... The notes basically tell you that he's experienced, trying to cure someone who has fox possession. So like fox possession is a curse that when a fox bites you, basically you get possessed by a demon fox or by the gods that they worship, the Inari gods. the family that Kotoyuki comes from is called the Tsuneki family, and these are the family of thieves. I mean, not thieves, like they're a family of kitsunes, and they basically took over Inari faith. The Inari faith was a faith that was kind of like worshipping a goddess, a fox goddess, and they took it over and proclaimed themselves as the real fox gods or whatever, which is fucked up because they're not. This is so creepy. I never understood this. There's hearts and eyes, and it usually means something. There's always a meaning in Silent Hill, you know, like eyes could mean something, hearts could mean something. I just don't understand what it means, you know. And the Tsuneki family basically, they want Hinako. Oh, the body's gone. How interesting. Oh, use the key, no? Oh, wait. Where's this bitch? Dried caucus. I'm literally wasting my sanity here, waiting for you to come out. Where is she? Oh yeah. So you see these claw marks? There's files here that you find that literally detail like how the doctor was treating someone who had fox possession, which is a very rare case of someone being possessed by a fox. And from what we know, ooh! Bitch. Hey, Nightmare. Thank you for the daily wish. Pretty sure Kotoyuki is fox possessed as well. The lock is broken, it won't open. We just came through here, no? Oh my god, that's so scary. Did we not just come through here? Or did we come through the window? Yeah, through the window. Let's go. And the only way you can play this game, honestly, is like if you have to you replay it at least 4 times, at least, because every time you play it, it's different. The dialogue changes, the cinematics are a bit different. There's more context to things, more things understood. What's in here? Am I looking fast? The knife is the strongest weapon in the game. Any sickle or knife is the strongest in this game. I have a divine sword that I need to get. There's a whole quest line kind of thing where you find a divine sword. I've played it 4 times. This is my 4th, I think. 4th? I think this is my 4th. It's just so interesting. This town is like so interesting, you know? Like, how do you explain it? Like, it's just such an interesting town. Like, oh, who's that? Oh my god, what is that? Oh hey, queen, queen, queen. Everyone does. Lulu was literally saying that they want... wait, was it semen? It was semen. What did semen say again? I need to pin that shit. Let me see. There we go. There we go. I will keep this for the rest of the stream. I thought it was you, Lulu, but it was semen. What are you gonna eat? I love it. It's so good. What do you mean? What happened to my game? What the hell? What just happened to my game? What in the FPS drop just happened to my game? Hello? I do. I have a tongue. Right? I literally told you guys. I'm so easy. Like, he could be like, I don't know, like the way he speaks to Hinako. If someone spoke to me like that, I'd fold with like no question. Like, I don't blame her for being fox whipped. I would be fox whipped too. The fuck? You want to jump? Oh, okay. I thought she was gonna jump me. I was ready. I was ready to get jumped. Where's the map? Fucking hell. The divine sword. I need to get my divine sword. Where's my divine sword? That is Sakuko's house. There's my divine sword. I think. I could be very much wrong, but I need to get my hands on that divine sword. Dried carcass. Offerings to the gods. It's so interesting though. Like they made him so perfectly like a prince, you know? Yojin. Is it Yojin? Or Wangnim? Wangnim? What is it in Korean? I'm literally lost in the fog.
Fox Shrine, Maidon, IS Pashink, Baitu Blessiaus, Divine, FOXYWISDOM.
Oh, not the accent. Hey, Cotton. Cotton is our resident Tsuneki family maiden, shrine maiden. Cotton is very much in character right now as a shrine maiden to the Tsuneki family. Or the Inari goddess, if you will. He could cut my arm off, brand my back, and and geld me, and then he'd say sorry in a calm tone. And I'd still be like, it's okay. Oh my god. I don't blame you. I do not blame you at all. Oh, this leads to Sakuko's shrine, doesn't it? This is so interesting. So this, see. Do you have the weather changed when you enter here? So that shrine is an old forgotten shrine of the tree spirit. They used to, yep. The reason why Sakuko died first, like I told you guys, is because she's a threat to the fox faith. Because she does not worship the fox, she worships the tree. Unfortunately not. The tree spirit is very ugly. Look at this, okay? Look over there. Look over there. Look. You see that? Do you know who that is? You see that? That's the shrine maiden. No, that's the shrine maiden. That's the tree spirit shrine maiden. And you'll never guess who it is. Divine water. Shit. Well, what can I use? What can I use that will... All my weapons are at high durability. Maybe I can ideally use one of the Kudzoti. Can I use it? Well, isn't there a shrine nearby to save anyway? There should be, no? There's a lot of stuff to pick up here. That is Sakuko, you guys. That is Sakuko. Over there the lady we see dancing inside, that's Sakuko. Sakuko is her family are basically like the keepers of the shrine, but the shrine has been abandoned. She tries to go here often to clean it up and stuff, because now this town is known to jump from faith to faith. Every time something happens, they jump from new faith to new faith. And they basically used to worship the divine tree before the foxes came. When the foxes came, they stopped worshiping the divine tree and started worshiping the foxes. And every time someone would disbelieve in, oh, hey, Shu. Creepy ass.
Oi, Aibo. Rinko no ie wa sochiじゃないぜ.
They're just unfaithful as fuck, they are. But they pretend to be faithful.
Sakuko no ie no jinja da yo na. Ammari omoitsumeru na.
No, Sakuko was not devoted to the Inari faith. Sakuko was very much against the Inari faith. The fox god was scared of Sakuko. Literally. Sakuko was channeling both gods at the same time once. We should do a horror smasher pass. Yep, we should do a horror smasher pass. And you guys should put your submissions. We should do that. That's so much fun. Great idea. Sakuko worships the divine tree. And the foxes hate the divine tree. And that's why Sakuko dies first in the game. She's literally target number 1. She's a threat to the fox faith. And she must die. They can't have her running around worshipping something. Oh, the divine sword. Okay, so this sacred sword harbors hate in it. Okay? And why does it harbor hate, you wonder? Well, this is the sword that was used to cut down enemies in long, like in the Edo. I think it was the Edo era. There was a war here, and the sword was used. And the divine tree, the sword basically belongs to the divine tree. But it has been tainted now. It's been filled with hatred and tainted. The way you use the sword is so interesting, right? Because if you see how, you see, it's like possessed by, you see that, you hear that sound? That wooden sound? That is the sound of the tree spirit. You hear that? Because it's filled with like hatred now. And she can't even like control it. Because it's like, it has so many evil spirits in it right now. Sakuko does deserve so much better. I think Sakuko got the worst. She's the most interesting character and she got the worst ending. Hey Momo, how are you? I'm good, Kami, how are you? Yum, I love mango sorbet. Sherbet. Interestingly enough, her being that way is like the problem. Like, I see Sakuko as the biggest victim ever because like even Hinako does not know how to treat her well. You know? Hinako is kind of self-centered. And I think she definitely could have been a better friend to Sakuko for sure. I feel like, personally. Knowing how Sakuko was perceived by people and how people treated her because she was weird, she could have been a better friend to her. That's what I feel like. Oh, red capsule? Whatever that is.
Nani?
Don't worry about it. Do not worry your pretty head about it. But the problem with Hinako is she can't see past her own problems. Did you do that? I did not see it. You posted it, right? I did not see it. Is this back to the shrine? No, I'm not trying to go there. I just want to get the sword. Usually the knife is like the strongest weapon, which is so interesting because like I think her dad tries to like throw a knife at her. It is also like believed that her dad hits her, but it's not true. When you play like the third play run, you notice that the dad does not hit her actually. He threw a knife that almost hit her. That was him reaching his breaking point. But he never meant to hurt her. And the way the true ending humanizes everyone and shows you that like Hinako has been seeing things only from her own perspective. And I mean, the dad did beat the mom though. I think the dad hit the mom for sure. I think that's true. I think that's canon. But the mom does get her payback on him a few times. And the dad is like, it's like the era is so weird. The era is so weird. But they do humanize the father a little bit, which I appreciated. Because he wasn't like all that like bad. He just doesn't know how to navigate in this world, I guess I would say. He is a better father than like others, I would say, compared to like the other fathers in that era. Not gonna lie. Because Sakuko's parents were really pissed me off. I think Sakuko was punished by being put in a dark room. I'm 100% sure her family punished her by putting her in a dark room and she was scared of the dark. Bye bye Foxy, thanks so much for coming. 100% sure that the way they punished her was like trap her in the dark, which is fucked up because she has like a lot of trauma. I need to go. Which way do I go? Hey, Kokuko. Hey, Alexandra. Who wants to fight? No one, I hope. Very interestingly, I feel like no one knows how to deal with like I don't know, I relate to it a lot because like even here in Arabian cultures, they don't know how to deal with people with autism. They don't know how to deal with like they just generally don't know how to deal with mental health. A lot of times if you're like back then, I would say like not like what 30 20 years, not 20 years is too little, I would say 15 years ago probably, people did not know how to deal with mental health issues in Arabia. They don't know. To this day, there are still countries that don't even know how to deal with it at all. We are, thank God, advanced because we're in the Khalij, the Gulf. We're more advanced. But a lot of people don't know how to deal with mental illnesses that show up in their children. They don't know how to deal with it at all. It's pretty bad here. Like, it's pretty bad, I would say. It's like compared to like what, the 90s in America, I would say. I would say the 90s here, the way it is right now. I mean, thank God we never had to live through lobotomy and like shock therapy and shit. We don't have that. Thank God. Where am I going? But it's just so like why does this game suddenly like have an FPS drop for no reason at all? Oh, let's not do that. Lumen Epic for who? Thank you so much, Alexandra. Have a good one. Thank you for stopping by. Geez, it's almost like the most religious places, even here in America. Some people still believe mental illness is a curse of some sort. I wouldn't say it's only religious. It's just in general. Like, it's culture. I would say culture plays the biggest role in it. Arabs care about their social status a lot. Especially in the Gulf, we care about social status a lot, which is a nice thing. It's not bad, but it's like, don't go to the extremes with it. You know what I mean? Of course, some things should be kept in the, like, you know, quiet or hush hush, but don't go to the extreme of neglecting a health issue just for the sake of social standing, or I'd rather not someone know that my child has an illness, because that's shameful. My child is not crazy. That's the first thing that comes to their mind. If you say that you are depressed, it's not about, oh my god, the devil is in him or whatever. It's about, my child is not crazy. You're not crazy. You know? It's like that. It's less like, less religious, mostly. Some places it is though, like pretty religious, but most of the time it's not. With this case, at least. Oh, there's just a lot of you today, isn't there? Oh. No. Well, you're gonna have to ask, you're gonna have to ask Seaman about that one. Yes, everyone wants to be normal because, like, they care about the way they are perceived more than anything. That is the most important thing. What the fuck? This leads to nowhere, mind you. Think of the hydrate setting. Ah, I see. I wonder how long my 3080 GPU can withstand, honestly. Hey, Kieran. And I don't know what to do with it once it's, like, going, you know? Like, once I upgrade one day, like, what will I do with it? Where is it gonna go? I think about that a lot. What do people do with unused GPUs? Yeah, basically, it automated you because of someone's name. Yep. I'm kind of like on the verge of, like, it was your name, my love. Yes, it was. Bitch thought. Oh my god, you must be crazy. There's nothing inside. Oh god, look, there you go. The FPS suddenly dropped again. I feel like this happens every time I enter a new area or something. I hope it's not obvious to you guys when the FPS drops. No, but I wanna get the chocolate from there. Oh my god, the FPS drop is crazy. A bit unrealistic, might I add. Why does it... Oh my god. Return back to normal, please? There we go. That's why it was loading. I want to take the chocolate. Shall I eat one of the chocolates that I have? Oh, it only restores sanity? I thought it restores... health as well. My bad. So I'm gonna use the knife to knife down this boss. I wonder if I can kill him instead of run away from him this time. Oh, okay, so it's a common issue. But I didn't have that, by the way. I didn't have that issue. When I first played the game, I did not have that issue. Oh, I love the surround sound. So beautiful. Ew. We don't want that. I'm like full on shit right now. Like, what do I do with the shit that I have? Have a nice dinner. And good time zone to you as well, Kami. You're reminding me I am a bit hungry. Feeling a bit hungry. Feeling a bit hungry. Ugh, we have an ad break. Ooh. So fun, by the way. So fun. So fun. Look at that beautiful man. What a beautiful chocolate man. You guys remember? From White Chicks? You wanna fight, bitch? I played these games before. I have played these games before. Oh, what? What the hell? Oh, that was not nice. Oh, wait, never mind. Not good, actually. This is not healthy. What if I want to kill him? Like... Shit, I forgot how to... Okay. Come at me. Oh! Wait, Shu? They met a while ago, but, like at the start of the game. Oh, he died. I killed him. Bitch. Usually you're just supposed to run away from him, but I decided he needs to die. Hey, Peachy. Look at this queen. The queen. Die? I'd like you to die now. Yeah. I feel like they should have like asked Bloober team to do the combat so it can be like Silent Hill Remake 2. I like the combat in Silent Hill Remake 2. I think it's pretty realistic. But for a high school girl, like a bit crazy.
Yes.
A little bit crazy for a high schooler. Are there any items in here? There is. Okay, we do have to go on an ad break. We will be right back. If you don't have sub, I am so sorry. I'll give you a recap while we're in ad break. So basically, she... How do I say this? She did not meet him again. It's like, there's two worlds, right? There's the other world, where the fox guy is, and where she's lost in that world. And there's another world where... which is the real world, which is what we are in right now, and her friends are in it, which is the guy that you just saw, and they're all like lost or whatever, you know, kind of like that. Yeah. Basically, yes, yes. This is how it is, indeed. Sorry, Pichi, I'm so sorry, but we do have to run ads so we can have ad-free for at least an hour. Yeah, for an hour. No ads for an hour. Woohoo! Light show the finale. Fire! Oh, I miss her. I miss playing Wua, but I haven't played it in a while. Ah, Kumiko, thank you so much for the gifted sub to Pitchy. Now, Pitchy, you don't have any ads. Make sure that you thank Kumiko for the gifted sub. Woohoo! Whoa, 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 whoa. I hate that I like that fox guy. What do you mean? He's not that bad. He means well, but he's been possessed. You have to understand. So like not all his actions are you know, evil. It's weird. It's weird. It's a very like it's a weird situation that they find themselves in, I have to say. Like he is not mostly in control of how he feels about Hinako. He's obsessed with Hinako because the fox demon in him is obsessed with Hinako. You get me? Yeah. Hey Maple. So he has to understand why he feels this way. Okay, it's time to go. Time to go, time to go. I'm sorry, it's time to go. Hey, hi. Junko is her older sister who has been married off and ran away. The reason Hinako hates marriage and men is because of how she's seen men around her. Her father, the way he treats her mother, and the last time she saw her sister after her sister got married, she saw her in the hospital bed about to give birth, and she said she's never seen someone look so dead and like out of life, like flushed out of her life. She saw that and she decided that there's no way. Sorry, I sneezed. There is no way she would allow herself to be that way. And her sister was like blindly like saying, you should get married. It's so good. You should get married. And like Hinako's like, that's not right. Whatever that is. I don't want that. I don't want whatever that is. Get that shit off my face. I don't want that. And she's absolutely right. Marriage is a trap. Especially, I will say, arranged marriages. Which is still a thing that happens, by the way. I don't know if it still happens in Japan or not. Why is my face not moving? The hell? Why is my face stuck in place? Calibrating. My face is stuck in place. I can't move it. Guys, my face is stuck in place. I can't move it. Help. I don't know what just happened. Oh my god. Why is my face not moving? My head is not moving. Oh my god. Hello? Guys, hello? Oh my god, you can see me. I'm moving my eyes, right? Help me. I can't move. Help me. Hello? Oh, there you go. Hey. My god, what was that? So weird. I don't know what that was. So weird. Anyway. But yeah, she saw that and she was like, mm-mm. You can keep it. I don't want that. You can keep it. Did you eat puffer? Do you like my puffed face? Hmm. There we go.
ここで遊んだのいつの頃だっけな。
懐かしいね、ここ。幼い頃、この辺りで迷ってワンワン泣いた記憶がある。
お前が泣くとこが想像できないぜ。
もうずいぶん長いこと泣いた記憶がない。
She used to get lost in the fog.
何でも我慢して。
Poor thing. As a kid, she'd get lost. This is when like they would tell them like boys and girls are not allowed to play together. This is something that still happens in Arab countries, by the way. Just saying. Not that much as before, but there are still countries that still have this. I don't mean to speak out of like it's not in my country, right? But in Afghanistan, this still happens. Arranged marriages and all those things are still pretty happening. They do happen in Arab countries as well. It's not as much. It is less common, but it does happen still. It happens everywhere. Right? It really felt relatable to me. Like when I saw like the game's environment, how the genders are, all that, it really like hit home. I was like, oh my god, I see this happen in front of me. I've seen this happen before. Like I was not allowed to play with girls that are like my cousins, like let alone like, you know, strangers. Like we all like, I was in a school of like, it wasn't like all boys, it was mixed school, and we were not allowed to like hang out with the girls or anything. And that was weird. I found that so weird. And it was like so rare for you to be able to talk to a girl. And that would usually mean something horrible, by the way. Look at the doll. That's Hinako's doll. Strangely, why is it here? Question. Weird. A sickle. It's your funeral today. I think I'll give you a standing ovation. So we have to find the correct. These scarecrows are like weeping angels, by the way. We have to find the correct doll that signifies. Yeah. In Lost in the Fog difficulty, it's a bit hard. But I will say it's usually like, it's her friends, by the way. I noticed that some of the face models are literally her friends. Yeah, they do move. They do move. And this puzzle one says it's a standing. I should give you a standing ovation, right? It's usually one that is looking at another one. You'd think it's clapping, but it's usually like, yeah, like I think like this one. I think. Oh, you hear that? That one is moving right there. You see it? She's coming here. Please pull it out. Yep. Hinako, I like you so much. I love you. I love you. I love you. You better not go anywhere. Don't you dare leave me behind. That's Sakuko, I think. That even looks like Sakuko, by the way. Same hair. Oh, or is that Rinko? That's Rinko's hair. That's Rinko's hair, yeah. Oh, bitch. Oh, there's a lot of them. Ooh. Ooh. Oh my god. Where's the wind going? That way. Oh my god. You're like right behind me. That's so weird. Gotcha. There we go. Okay. Yokan. What's this one say? It's your funeral today. Good riddance. It feels as though I'm finally got rid of this painful burden off my chest. By the way, I feel like these are thoughts that people have thought about her friends, probably, because it's her wedding. That's why they say it's her funeral. Today you die. Everyone says she's dead. She's dead. Because she's getting married off to like a rich family and she's never going to be seen again. Like literally in one of the... Never mind. Yeah. Yep. I'm telling you, there's so many layers to it. And in every difficulty, it's different. Hey, Tyler, thank you so much for the daily wish. In every difficulty, it's different. In a difficulty, it will say like, it's your happy day. I miss you so much. I wish you would look at me the same way you look at blank. Like that, you know? It's like, it's really weird. But these are her friend's thoughts. 100%. It feels as though I finally got rid of this painful burden off my chest. So this one, I remember it being like, so you would think, ooh. Hey, Diva. Oh. You tried it, or whatever. Usually it would be like a burden off your chest, on your chest basically. It would be like maybe stabbed through the chest, right? So a burden off your chest would be the one with no burden on their chest, like this one. She has the sickle thrown in front of her, which means it was probably like stabbed in front of her basically. I love you and Sakuko so much. I think I'd die if you ever left. Sakuko and I would probably bite off our tongues, gouge out our eyeballs, and use gardening shears to chop off all of our fingers one by one. This is Rinko. This is Rinko. It is all Rinko, actually. Just realized. Even the schoolgirl outfit and the hair is Rinko's hair. Rinko is like that one friend that loves you but hates you at the same time. You know, possessive, obsessive, jealous type of friend. She's so realistic. You'll see how realistic she is later on, but she's so realistic. Dare I say the most realistic out of the bunch. Yes, she's possessively scary. It's your funeral today. You hurt him and now you're leaving him behind. I hope you suffer for what you've done. This is all Rinko, by the way. I think Lost in the Fog, this puzzle is all Rinko. And then one of them is like Shu and one of them is Sakuko. I think that's how it is. I think that's how it is. So this one, right, is so interesting. It's one of the scarecrows looking at another scarecrow that is hurt. So like a boy, right? It's weird. It's very interesting. Okay, so you see the guy in the middle? That's the one basically that Hinako hurt. Shu, basically. 'Cause she rejects Shu. Shu loves her. She knows Shu loves her, but she knows she can't be with him because she's gonna get married off to the Tsuneki family. So she pushes him away, and that basically hurt him. This is what Rinko wants you to believe. Mm-hmm. So you see this one, right? Is it this one? She has no saw, right? Okay. One of them is looking towards. Okay. So let's imagine this is Rinko. This is Shu on the ground, right? Off to the distance, Rinko is looking at a scarecrow, I think. There's one in the distance. There. Oh. What's happening? She's also like passive aggressive towards her, like in front of her. She says like you're clumsy. You did this. Like this is your fault. Whatever, you know. Okay, which direction is it? There's one that's looking. Oh, there it is. Is it you? No, that's not you. That's a weeping scarecrow. That's not it. That's a weeping scarecrow. Okay, so we have. I think this one has no saws. Oh, oops. Okay, y'all want to fight? Where did you pull out that gun? That weapon from? Okay. Okay. Which one is it? Oh. Yep. That one's moving. Stop moving. I see you. Stop moving. That's so weird, by the way. She's not supposed to move like that. I can see her. Okay. Oh, okay, so he is supposed to look at one, right? He's looking at her. Oh. You are fast. So he is looking at her. I think she is the one who's carrying the... Oh, never mind. Never mind. Oh, I parried her. My bad. The one with the Bob. What's your name, B.O.B.? So they're calling you Bob. Is he pointing at something though? I think you're supposed to like, he's supposed to like point at it. This one? With a Bob. Oh, you mean that one? It could be. Nope, it's not. What the hell? No, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You just respawn in front of me? That's so weird. This guy is supposed to point at something. I just forgot. Like, which way is he looking? Is he looking at her? And then, is she pointing somewhere? Or is she looking at someone? Could she be looking at the guy over there? I don't get it. There's one that is looking at... There's one over him, basically, it's supposed to be. That's looking at a scarecrow in the distance. You know?
You're not
You're
young.
not young. I say this to help you.
I say this to help you.
Hmm. Who is looking at him? Is it her looking at him? She looks like she's looking at him. Great. See anything? So foggy. Ew. Who are you? Oh, great. Wow. Just kill me. Why don't you just kill me? Yeah, he has the knife stuck to him, right? I feel like it's her. Who's she looking at? Is she looking at him or her over there? Woo! You spawned right on me? It's messed up. I feel like it's her. Her. Is it not her? Who's she looking at? She's looking in that direction. And who are you looking at? You're looking in that direction. I'm telling you, it's like the look situation. Oh? Like one of them is looking at the... Oh, no. Let's go back. That way. That one's fake. Who's looking at her? At him? Who's looking at him? No one's looking at him. She's looking like ahead. Yes, I think so. I think is this. Wait, which one is it? It's your funeral today. You hurt him. Yeah, you hurt him. And you're leaving him behind. I hope you suffer for what you've done. So, he was hurt. From which direction? Who hurt him? Who was it? Is there any Hinako looking dolls? Look, that's a Sakuko looking one. And that's a Rinko one, isn't it? This one is like the only one that I don't. Oh, could it be her? She's the only one who's carrying a weapon, no? Isn't she the only girl carrying a weapon? Could it be her? She looks to be the only one who's carrying a weapon from the girls. Oops. It ain't her. It ain't her, guys. It ain't her. Isn't that bob too short for Hinako? So is it her? Hello? Is it you? It is her. Shu also loves you, oh so very much. He said he's so in love with you. Every other girl to him is just a parasite that doesn't deserve to live. I wonder if he's going to kill me too, Hinako. If you leave Shu behind, he's going to kill the rest of us girls. Please, Hinako, save us. I love you. I love you. I love you. Crazy. That is a bob, isn't it? Oh, it is a bob. It's Rinko. It's all Rinko. Damn. So this was the right way, but like they had to they had to play extra for it. Now where? Wind guide me. Ooh. That's funny. It's your funeral today. You were such a thorn in my side. Always getting between me and him. Always getting between me and him. So if I remember this one, this could be Rinko, unhappy. And this looks like Hinako, very happy with herself. She's getting in between. Yep, she's getting in between her and Shu. I've gotten on your nerves at least one time, right? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Is that the reason you don't want to stay with us anymore? What can I do to make you forgive me? What can I do to make you love Shu? It's a bit extreme. It's a bit of an extreme way of Rinko's like... I think Rinko has like... What do you call it? She's like crazy, right? But like, what's the clinical... Oh, who's you? You can run after me all you want. I'm not stopping, baby. Oh, wait. Do I keep going? Yeah, like extreme case of yonder. Oh my god, there's two of you. Who first? You first? Okay, you first. Oh, she hit me with that combo. Yeah, so I wouldn't say a sociopath. More psycho. Yeah, no, actually not a psycho, because psychos don't feel. Sociopaths do feel, but they only feel towards themselves. There's a lot of you, isn't there? Hi, Shadows. How are you? Hello, hello. There's a lot of them. What the hell? Oh my god, please don't call me out like that. I have BPD. I mean, honestly, she is relatable. I relate to her sometimes. I used to be like that. I used to be just like Rinko before in the past. But not like as extreme as she is. Like, I get her. You know what I mean? I understand. The sacred sword was used to defeat the water dragon, which is what is plaguing this town and causing geysers, and people could not like live in this town because of that. Oh, then that is sociopath. I thought it was psychopath. Isn't psychopath the one that doesn't care about anything or danger or anything, does not feel danger? Does not feel like... But doesn't a sociopath like themselves? They're obsessed with themselves and ignores the rights and feelings of others, but not themselves. They care about themselves, right? So that is sociopath, yeah. But a psychopath has no feelings, I think. I'm frozen. I'm not moving. Sorry. Am I? That's weird. I don't think she has split personality. She has the same personality. It's like just layers of it, you know, like there's an extreme side to her. Yeah. She's obsessed with Shu, like in a weird way, you know, but she does have love for Hinako. Like she does have love for her. She isn't that horrible, by the way. When we first see Rinko, we see a lot of her horrible side. Same with Sakoko. Because that's how Rinko remembers it. That's how Hinako remembers them. She doesn't remember the good things they do, by the way. But Hinako is like unreliable. Mind you guys, Hinako is on drugs the whole time. She's remembering this. She's on White Dahlia, psychedelic. What she believes mostly is wrong. In the first, second, and third playthroughs, you see like one side. In the true ending playthrough, you see the sides of others instead of her side only. Because that's how she perceives people around her. She is the main problem. Hinako is kind of like the main problem in like the first few runs, I would say. She perceives people in a way, and it's not the full picture. It is. It is very very interesting. There's so many layers to it. The way she perceives them is the issue. Yeah. What was I gonna say? There was something that I wanted to reply to. Yeah, cotton. And the divine sword was used to banish like the spirits and whatever, and they used it. There was a tree warrior. There was a tree warrior back then who, when there was war in this area, who showed up out of nowhere wearing armor of bark, and he had this divine sword, and he cut people down with it. He was a warrior, I think. He was a good guy. I don't remember. Basically, then the sword was like discarded or whatever, and the spirits in the sword are still like trapped in the sword, kind of like Akame got killed. Do you remember Akame got killed? How Akame has like a sword that traps the spirits of its of the people that she kills with, or whatever. It's the same thing. And then in different endings, you can either cleanse it, or you can. There's just a lot of different endings. All different endings. Yes. Different endings. You can either cleanse it. You could keep it. I kept it the first time. Cleanse it the second time. Oh. Or Machiavellani. Oh, that's so interesting name. Which is a psycho and a narc combined, but not exactly. She is. You'll see how she is. You'll see how she is. This one is like the one where they say goodbye to her. So if I remember. Wait, which one is this? Goodbye and don't ever show your face again. Go do your own thing, just like you always have. I feel like this one's like a command, like go away. You know, like could it be a scarecrow that's not here? You know, like far. Because I remember one of them being far from the rest. And ooh, are you wearing 2 masks? 3? She has 3 heads. That's so creepy. Is that her? She's so creepy. Oh my god, I'm so scared. 4 faces. That's so scary. Is it her? It's not her. That's so creepy with the 4 faces. Do you guys see anything in the distance? Could there be one that's like ostracized, kicked away, leaving? One without a face. That'd be interesting. Oh, look! What the hell? There was one that was far. What?
どうしてまたここに
Are you ostracized? You're a guy. You're a man. How to insult someone? You're a man. Look, she's right there on her own. What is that though? Chocolate. And that she looks like Hinako. She has a bob. And she's not showing her face. Oh my god. Can't see her face. She's hiding her face. There you go. Hinako, I like you so much. I love you. I love you. I love you. Sakako Shu and we all love everything about you. So please don't listen to that creepy guy. You can't believe a single word he says. Okay, so I forgot. I forgot this lore bit. I did spoil the game for you guys, didn't I? I just remembered that I did before. I told you guys that there's a battle between two gods, right? The spirit, the tree spirit and the fox. That was the tree spirit. Pretty sure. That was the tree spirit. That was the tree spirit. Telling Hinako to stop listening to the fox guy. And reminding her of her friends in her childhood. K-
ひなこも無事でよかった。
怪我はないか？家族は？
私は大丈夫。でも誰もいないの。足の悪いおばあちゃんまでいないなんて、こんなの絶対に変。誰もいないし、気味の悪い怪物がうろつき回ってるし、何が何だかわからないよ。
This is interesting for me, by the way. Because remember, look at that doll. She's right there. See that doll? Everywhere.
町を出た方がいい。
町を出るって、お父さんやお母さんは、みんなは助けを呼ぶためにも。今は行動を急いだ方がいいかもしれない。
みんなを見捨てるわけじゃない。助けるためにも一度脱出する必要があるんだ。
でも街を出るって言ってもあれじゃ無理だよ。
無理ってどういう意味だ？
そっちの窓から鉄橋が見えるよ。霧が濃くなければ。
The bridge is destroyed, basically.
嘘だろ。
どうしよう。
東の鉄橋がダメなら西の県道を目指そう。
柊の家の裏山を抜けるのか？あの山越えられるの？
わさび田への道がある。うちだけの抜け道だ。
Through the wasabi fields.
念のため薬や絆創膏を持っていきたい。
台所に救急箱あるよ。取ってくるね。あ、私も一緒に行こう。手伝う。
相棒が一緒なら安心だ。
Right? It ain't that deep. It's not that hard to swim through. They're actually in their 20s, yes. This is all in her head. This part. Watch this. Beware Rinko. That's what the doll says, right? Beware Rinko. It is implied that Rinko pushes her off the stairs, but we don't see that happens, by the way. We don't see that happen. So, like, Hinako, like, you guys have to remember, Hinako is on drugs. Like, high-level drugs. Like psychedelic, spiritual drugs. You know? So, she is so unreliable when it comes to, like, what's happening. You cannot trust what she is perceiving. She's, like, living in 3 different worlds right now. Shu, the motherfucker, she has a lot of stress, right? So Shu comes from like this line of doctors, right? They do local medicine and stuff. In Silent Hill 1, the town of Silent Hill is plagued with a drug issue. We're in the other world now. We're back in the other world. And I dare say the other world is the Tsuneki family's house or whatever. Yes, so they do a lot of herbal medicines, right? And Silent Hill 1 was like the story is that Silent Hill 1 has a cult, right? And that cult had a doctor who was dealing drugs and selling drugs to the tourists and stuff like that. Silent Hill in itself is an area of the veil between the spirit world and the physical world is very thin. And I think it follows the teachings of what your mind perceives, you will see. Kind of like there's a Buddhist teaching, like if you think about something, you'll see it, like that kind of vibe. You know what I mean? Like how in the fourth dimension it is said that if you think of something, it will appear in front of you, no matter what it is, bad or good, right? Silent Hill, we've known for a long time that it basically reveals the things that you have kept stored inside of you, wicked things usually, because it's cursed. And that's why children, when they go to Silent Hill, they don't see anything. They just see an abandoned town. They don't see monsters or whatever. The monsters are what you are seeing. So if I go to Silent Hill and you go to Silent Hill, we're gonna have different experiences of how we see the world around us in Silent Hill. We may have times where we intersect or whatever, but like usually we have different perceptions of what we see. Usually. And because of that, they were using this flower called the white dahlia as a drug to help them see it better, to lift the veil even clearer. It's a psychedelic. In Ibis, I don't know how to say the town's name, but in the town here in Silent Hill F, a lot of doctors use this herb and they call it kakura makakura, which is the same white dahlia herb that was used in Silent Hill, and it grows near Shu's house. Now, this herb is used to look within your inner self, to see your inner self and the inner self. So it's basically used to peel the layers of who you are, basically. And because it's a spiritual psychedelic, yes, exactly. It is about the MK Ultra. Yes, it is. Basically, someone mentions this, by the way. It is mentioned about MK Ultra, by the way. I'm pretty sure it is mentioned. I remember reading something about that. Like it's related to like MK Ultra. Someone like literally made the crossover. I remember. So right now, Shu, the motherfucker, he thinks that he's helping Hinako all these years by giving her these pills, these Kakura Makakura pills. And he thinks, because they like calm her down from her stress and her family, that he's helping her. It helps her quote unquote headaches. Little does he know, he has been giving her Kakura Makakura for like years, all the way up to she's 20, in her 20s. And now finally the time has come for her to get married, and everything, her mind basically shatters. She's in her wedding right now. Right now, where she is right now is getting ready for her wedding. She's not in this place or in the town. She's getting ready for her wedding. And everything at once collapses in her brain. She starts disassociating versions of herself. A version of herself that doesn't want to grow up, that wants to stay young, that wants to go to the grocery store with her friends, that wants to still live out in the school days, reminiscing. And a version of herself, this version that we see right now, who wants to get married, who's in love with Kotoyuki, who wants to get away with her from her evil family, her evil friends. And there's a third version that we'll see later that's like in between both. This is literally like all a mental breakdown that's probably happening within like minutes, but in her mind it's like different. Because in the first ending, where she keeps taking the pills, right? If you keep taking the red pills in the first ending, she will have a psychotic break at her wedding and kill her family and her friends with a metal pipe and destroy the shrine of her wedding, basically. In another ending, she runs away with Shu. Literally, as they're running away in their school outfits, she says to Shu, you look good in a tie. I've never seen you in a tie before. Why would he be wearing a tie? He's literally wearing his school uniform. There's no tie in his school uniform. It literally means that she ran away as a bride. One of the endings. And in a third ending, she kills the other version of herself that wants to stay a kid and gets married to Kotoyuki and becomes whisked away by the fox. The fox demon takes her. And in the true ending, it's different. The true ending explains it all. In any case, I will say, like, she is like so unreliable right now. She's not in a clear mental state. No, I have not heard of that person. I'm sorry, I've not heard of that person. So right now, this is the Hinako that wants to get married and will do whatever it takes, sacrifice whatever she can sacrifice to get away with her from her family and her friends and the ugly life that she used to have. This is the part of her that like fell in love with Kotoyuki and is ready to let go of everything, guided by her sister Kaino. And basically it's trying to tell us that we need to find a balance between both. Yeah, he's right there, but he's not going to help her. He went ahead. This part is really like crazy. This part is fucked up. Let me tell you why. Ooh! Yeah. Let me tell you why. The first room that we enter, so this is like where the Tsuneki family, the family of Kitsunes, the mischievous, evil fox family that are pretending to be benevolent gods or related to the benevolent god Inari. They're not, by the way. Plot twist. They're not. They're actually evil. Wait, I need better Imamori. Okay, since we don't need durability that much. We might need the mirror here. Okay, and the board, okay. So, typos? Happy Eid to you too. This is where the girls come. The girls that are whisked away by the fox. This is where they come. This is where they're basically. This is how they like get into the family, kind of. This is the process of getting into the Tsuneki family. If you want to be a wife, a bride of the fox, you're gonna have to give off everything. Basically, you have to sacrifice everything. There's so many layers to this, as in like you can interpret this as just a woman getting married. You can interpret this as a literal fox god demon stealing away a girl's life. You can interpret this as girls being kidnapped by families to be married off to their like to the head of the clan or whatever, or being sold basically. Which is what happened with Hinako. She's basically sold. Her dowry, which is what Kotoyuki and his family are paying, is being used to pay off her dad's debt, basically. In the Gooner section, exactly. This is where the kitsunes, this is the goon section of the kitsunes. There's a room in here where there is a collection of hands, faces, cut off faces, and I think flesh, maybe? Arms, not hands, arms. Because you won't see it here because it's a new game plus, right? But in one of the oh my god, there's a monster in here. Hey. Oh my god. You see those monsters? These are sent by the tree these are sent by the tree god, the tree spirit. These are, you see how they have like roots in their face? These are not fox these are not the fox demon or whatever like sent by them, you know? Sent by the tree spirit. So this one's, is this a stage? It is a stage. This is where you entertain the foxes. You have to entertain the foxes. You have to be worthy of the fox family. They're so scary because they eat people. Like, I don't know what they eat. They eat humans. I don't know what they eat. Happy Eid to you too, Skimchi. Okay. Goodbye, Lulu. Have a good one. Don't believe the fox's words. Stay away from the western room. That's what the doll says. Right? What are dolls made of, by the way? Aren't they made out of tree and wood? That's the biggest hint. That everything in this place, everything in Silent Hill F that's made out of tree or made out of... Oh, what's that? Don't play with me right now. You see this? You see this? These are all the girls that have been stolen over the generations. You see them? This is the last one, Mayumi. We hear about Mayumi the most.
Babe, I'm breaking up with you. It's not you. You are Poggers. It's me. I'm Omegle. And sorry if this is pee-pants, but it has to be done. I've just been feeling Papiga and our relationship has been weird-chant for months. It's time to end it. No Kappa.
You're breaking up with me. Oh! Sorry. Don't trust him. That's Mayumi's last message. Mayumi was the last girl to be whisked away by the fox. Which is so creepy. Mayumi is the girl that we see notes around. She's so scared, she's terrified. And then eventually, the deeper you go into the place, she says, I'm so happy here. Yeah, don't break up with me now because I'm scared and this part is so scary in the game. So please don't break up with me now. Oh, bitch. You did not just do that. Who do you think you are? Bitch. Crazy bitch. Oh my god! Why is it following me like that? That's not cool. Oh, bitch. Oh, bitch. Fucking hell. Crazy bitch. You crazy bitch. Die. Easy. Not nice. Insane. And we got the sword. The spear. Charging through.
これ大事なものだと思うけど。すいません。
Oh shit. I ain't got shit. Great.
お借りします。やっと着いた。
Okay, so we have to find 2 keys. Yay! One key. We need to find 1 key. 1 key.
ダメだ。
I don't like this part at all, by the way. This is my least favorite part because you don't have.
こっちだよ。サクコ?
Sakuko? Oh my god. This is Sakuko. Ooh. Ooh. My dear Sakuko. Ooh. Someone's descending from the fucking sky. They really want to stop the sweating. Oh. Oh my god, that would have killed me. Please let me pass. I have places to be. I have a husband to run after. I have a fox prince that will whisk me away from my family and my troubles. And probably like devour my soul. Ooh, this part. So this is the family archives / library. In this part, I found a lot of files. Basically, the Tsuneki family are horrible people. This we know. I'll explain to you like all the files that I found when I was here. The first set of files came from my first playthrough where it talked about... Oh. Bitch. It was very unpleasant. I'm gonna die. The first set of files was about the fox possession and how one basically gets possessed by a fox and how possible it is, basically. Like, how does one get possessed by a fox? Well, doctors will tell you that it starts as a fever, and then eventually the person, the Crimson Spring gushing deep within, it's the Shimizu family. Ooh. I think because they're getting married to her, so they had to like do a whole research about her family. Basically, what they'll tell you is a fox possession happens when you get bit by a fox, like a vampire kind of thing, like a werewolf kind of thing.
Sakuko? Sakuko nano?
And there's a monster here. Ooh, there's 2, I think. I'm not. Get away from me. Get away from me. Basically. Oh, there's a lot of you? Good thing I'm not interested, right? No. Don't do that. Do not do that. Wrong. Shit. Dead end. Great. So, this guy, the fox guy that you guys see, his mom was a maid for this family. And the head of the family had an affair with her and promised that he would run away with her. But then when the time came for him to get married, he basically ditched her and went with the new wife, the rich arranged marriage wife. And basically said fuck you to his lover. And she was banished from the family, no longer working in that house with the Tsuneki family, the Kitsune family, or whatever. And then the head of family dies, the guy that she loved, and he had no sons. Basically, every time his wife would bear children, they would either die. They were like cursed. I think the mother cursed. The fox guy's mother probably like laid a curse on them, whatever. And where's the room with like all the shrine stuff? That's weird. We didn't pass it. Weird. And then like he becomes the head of the family and gets fox possessed at the same time. Like it's like really strange. Unfortunately, I'm not interested. I don't like what you're selling me. I think we missed the room. There was a storage room where they kept all the girls' like arms and their faces, because they have to cut off their face. They have to cut off the girls' faces to attach the fox mask on them and cut off their arm and replace it with a fox arm, aka taking their hand in marriage. Baby, this is not my first rodeo. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know where it is. I think it's through here. I think it's through here. Uragimono. Am I running around in circles? You betcha. Zayan Mamdani. That is my cousin. That's literally my cousin. Mia, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome in. So we're gonna take an ad break and do this boss fight, and then I'll be right back. Okay, I need to go pee. I need to pee. I need to go piss. P-tuber. BRB, guys, we're gonna do our 3-minute ad break, or a 2-minute, honestly, or 2-minute. Did I though? 2-minute. Yeah. And we are back. Hi. I don't know if you can hear baby purring, but she's purring. She's annoying. Baby, sit properly. If you want to sit, sit. Stop. Ushi Oni? No. I don't think I've heard that before. Stop. Shh. Stop. Stop holding my hand like that. Wait, I'm just looking at what she's trying to do. It's a giant yokai that's half spider, half ox. What the fuck? Why is there an ad starting again? I don't get it. No, she doesn't. She just wants to scratch me up. She thinks it's a game. It's not a game, baby. You wanna... Ah! She tore my clothes as well, by the way. Go away. She's starting to understand. Oh, she's starting to understand. What? Eating said human? That's crazy. That's crazy. I hope there is no ad starting, by the way, because that will be very annoying. Do you guys have ads? There should be no ads right now. Okay, great. So that is the first boss of the game. Would you look at that? Kinda. Is it the first boss? Yeah, it is. Is it? Yeah. You remember the shrine maiden we saw in like the old tree shrine? Why is there an ad? Is there an ad? Mm-mm. What the fuck? That's bullshit. Just because I did 2 minutes, they were like, you're supposed to do 3 minutes, not 2 minutes. How dare you do 2 minutes? Here's 1 more minute. Yeah. It could be tree sap. Think of this their way of congratulating her on her wedding. Because Sakuko is supposed to be a shrine maiden for the tree spirit. You remember we saw her silhouette in the shrine? She is actually here to save her. She's trying to save her from the fox, prince or whatever.
Sakuko? どうして裏切り者一体何なの
Oh god. Oh my god. I died? Oh. I literally dodged that. She looks like a parasite, doesn't she? Doesn't she look like a parasite? I am so pissed right now. No, stop. Oh my god. I misclicked. Don't kill me, Sakuko. We're friends. Shit.
Sakuko? どうして裏切り者一体何なの
Oh my god. I really hate the combat in this, by the way, but like, oh well, this is what we got. This is what we got. Yep. I mean, it's not my favorite combat, but I also like, I don't mind it that much, really. It's not like a game breaker for me. I had fun learning it, you know? I misclicked! It's so punishing if you misclick, by the way. Tried it. You see that? There's no such thing as blocking in this. There's no such thing as blocking. I promise you that. You have to listen to where she is. There she is.
戦わなくちゃいけないの
This is draining my damn sanity. Oops. I didn't mean to drink that. I did not mean to drink that. I dodged it. Nowhere. Disgusting. Okay. Oh. Oh, you think you're allowed to do that? In my husband's house? Interesting movesets, Sakuko. But this is not my first rodeo. I know you want nothing more than not to be here. If you think about it, right? The only like neutral party, which is stupid to say, right, is Shu. Whereas Sakuko, like oh, I got an achievement. Defeat Sakuko without being struck by the bell. Okay. There he is, our prince. Sakuko basically has no reason to be here. She's not from like she doesn't worship the kitsune. You see how he says an evil spirit entered this place? And calls her an impurity? Because she's not supposed to be here. Sakuko is not like a fox loving person. The real person coming to save us is Sakuko. She was sent, I think, by the tree spirit. Because when you fight Rinko, he does not ward her off or anything like that. He doesn't treat her as a demon spirit or whatever. He lets Hinako handle it on her own. Like Rinko does worship the foxes, I think, and she is on the fox's side. She wants to get rid of Hinako. She wants Hinako to go get married so she can be with Shu. And Sakuko does not want that. She wants Hinako to go back to being children again. So she's kind of like an agent of the tree spirit. Kinda. So is Shu. I think Shu is also an agent of the tree spirit. I think Shu is in the middle though, of like both. He's like lost in the middle. I think he just wants what's best for Hinako. He wants to be... I think Shu just wants to be aliens with her. And just play like Alien Invasion together. Guys, I left a cooked pasta in the fridge for like 2 days now. This is the third night probably. And I kind of want to eat it. Sa. You literally just said sa. Kakeguraimasho. Ooh. Yeah, I didn't. It was cooked, but I didn't eat it. So you see those visions? Basically, there's a skip. We will like the game. If you're doing a new game plus, it will skip her chopping her arm for him, her branding herself for him, her cutting off her face for him. It will skip that. You'll already get the perks.
どうした？あれ、引っ掛けて破いちゃったのかな。
Yeah.
特にあざはないみたいだな。
You see how her arm's already gone, like the clothes?
それは良かった。
It should be her back also now showing, but I don't know why they didn't do that. Maybe like this is when she fell. She thinks Rinko pushed her, but I don't think Rinko pushed her.
よし。行こう。
私をちゃんと守ってよ。私、ひなこみたいに強くないんだから。
分かってる。俺から離れるな。
うん。
目指すは俺の家だ。裏道から山を越え県道に出よう。俺が先頭を行く。相棒はしんがり棒。
分かった。私はシュウ君の後ろにいるね。真ん中なら安心だし。
This is all Shu's fault. He's the reason we're like this. What the fuck is baby doing?
しんがりは引き受けた。
Okay, so we're gonna end here. I'll see you guys tomorrow, I think? Are we on for tomorrow? Yes, we are. We're on for tomorrow. More Eid fun. More Eid fun tomorrow. Let's see. Who do we raid? Who is on our raid list? We still don't have a raid message, you guys. I don't know. I'm not creative enough for a raid message anymore. I can't do it. I just can't do it now, Mo. I can't do it now, Mo. I need you guys. We'll raid Manari, because it's Eid. Raid with Manari. We sting and oh, cute, but no. No. We need to find something like really like. We gotta find something that makes the stingers unique and also makes the Jins unique. Jins, aka subscribers, right? So like, we need to make it something unique. For now, let's just do a Jin raid, okay? Just do Jin raid like we used to, okay? If you can, if you can help, go and help us in the Discord. Join the Discord. So much fun stuff happens there. We also are looking for mods. We need a Discord mod and a Twitch mod to add to the team. So please, if you are interested, let us know. The links are in the announcement on Discord. Thank you very much for being here. I love you guys so much. Hi, my sister. This is Naira, my sister. Show her some love. That's my sister. Okay, raid is going out in 30 seconds. So do Jin raid. Do Jin raid. This is our usual generate. Spam this. Show some love to Manai. Manai is my husband, my neighbor. Show him lots of love. Tell him Eid Mubarak. You know, all that stuff. Happy Eid, all that shit. Love you guys. Happy Eid again. I'll see you guys tomorrow for Eid day 2. I have small thing prepared. Hope you guys love it. But there will be a giveaway, right? Yes. There will be a giveaway. Money, like we do. Money giveaway.